duty to present the con side of Proposition 1, the Metro Parks District formation. To give everyone a quick summary, Proposition 1 is for the formation of the Metropolitan Park District to be governed by 5 at-large commissioners. I looked into the requirements to become an elected park commissioner, and according to RCW 35.61.050, the commissioners of the district may be selected by election, in which case at the same election at which the proposition is submitted to the voters as to whether a Metropolitan Park District is to be formed, 5 park commissioners shall be elected. The RCW also states, the election of park commissioners shall be null and void if the Metropolitan Park District is not created. The terms of office are staggered, so you won't have the same commissioner in office for 6 straight years. One question to be considered is if a voter votes no on his or her ballot, does their vote for commissioner get counted, or does the negative vote make them null and void? In speaking to Karen Herr, elections commissioner for Mason County, I learned that even if you vote no on the proposition, you can still vote for the commissioners and have that vote be counted. By the way, she was sorry she couldn't be here, but if anyone has any questions or for her, to come see me and I will pass them along to her. The reasoning behind this is even if you don't want the proposition to pass, you still have a vote for the commissioners. More people wanted a district, but you still have as much say as the yes voters in the election of commissioners, which helps my second con, the formation and implementation of special interest groups. Remember, a special interest group is defined as a community within a larger organization with a shared interest in advancing certain items. I got that from Wikipedia, sorry I cheated a little bit. There could be a block formed to advance certain interests. And where does the money come from? Proposition 1 will be funded by property tax, $20 on every $100,000 of property values. But written into RCW 35.61, the new district would have the power to levy up to 75 cents per $100,000. So for example, say your house is assessed at $200,000, you could pay up to $150 per year. The beginning levy for that house would start at $40. According to taxrates.org, Mason County already has one of the highest median property taxes in the U.S. In fact, we're almost in the 81st percentile. So that's how it will be funded. And another question is, what does the MPD predict funding will be in the future? The next con is one of creation. Once the MPD is formed by a vote, only the commissioners of the MPD can dissolve it. And since the commissioners are all at large, they could represent special interests. Your school directors have districts assigned that at least 3 directors must represent, yet the parks directors will all be at large. Other unanswered questions? Only the new parks district has the power to dissolve itself. How can the tax-paying public have a say in its operation, besides having to vote an MPD commissioner out after feasibly waiting 2 years? So this is one question for the followers of Code of Hammurabi like me. The county already has a Parks and Trails department to maintain the parks. If we elect an MPD, will our property taxes go down by the amount we already pay? Will the current department be abolished and new staff hired? What will the relationship between the current county commissioners and the proposed MPD be? Is it a conflict of interest to have one board supervise the employees of another? I like to think the best of people, and I know these potential commissioners have the public's best interests at heart. The concept that they're all at large bothers me. The idea that we're voting for this sight unseen bothers me. The question of what is going to happen to the current department and its funding bothers me. And because I'm bothered of it, the gift of $1.2 million immediately to a group of people who have to learn the ins and outs of a big responsibility, and believe me, being an elected official is a huge duty. Just ask the current and former elected officials in this room. Having to work as a commissioner, not as a board. I'll be voting no on Proposition 1 because there are too many questions.
I've got all the answers.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. We'll start with Helen Keller. She said, what's worse than being blind is having vision or having eyesight without vision. I think that standing up this MPD shows great vision for what can be done in Mason County. You were talking about I-732, where is our alternative regional trail system, right? So where is our city's basketball courts? know, if you look at other urban areas, and some of the great stars that are now in the NBA, or swimming, or think of the Williams sisters in tennis, right? They all started on public-sponsored courts and facilities. And yet, as moms, we've got, and we have to take our kids, you know, from Belfair to Kitsap County to play soccer, right? We just don't have that infrastructure. And you can say we just need our county parks department and our commissioners to do a better job, but as I talked in another forum, Lisa Frazier stood up and said, you know, I've worked with county, I've worked with good county commissioners, I've worked with bad ones. It's not the commissioners, it's the way the system is structured. We do not have a mandate in our county government to provide park services. We have a mandate to provide courts, a sheriff's department, public works. But there is no mandate for parks. And this is where the system breaks down. By creating an MPD, we create that mandate, okay? It is a government entity, just like a hospital district or a cemetery district, right? But I'm coming to you as a member of the community who had worked with the Citizens Advisory Board for our parks. People of the Citizens Advisory Board saw a problem, and we're bringing a possible solution to the community. It's a community-led effort, and the people who came forward as candidates also came forward from the community. Okay, these aren't professional politicians. But what impresses me is that we have an attorney. We have a fellow with a master's degree in forestry. We have a fellow with a master's degree in geography. We've got an auditor and an accountant, okay? I mean, what a great way to stand up in the Metropolitan Parks District. What does it take to be a county commissioner? You put your name on the ballot, and if you win, you're in. And if you think about it, we've got 2 realtors and a former sand and gravel operator leading our county, right? And they're the ones bringing up concerns like, oh, this thing could go to 75 cents on the dollar, right? It's not going to happen. It's on the ballot. It's 20 cents per thousand. It's going to stay that way unless it comes before the county as a vote, okay? The other thing that is a big one is once it's stood up, it can never go away. If you look at 3165-310, okay, an MPD can be resolved just as fast as it's stood up. You put it on the ballot. If the majority of the county citizens want it to go away, it goes away, no matter what the current standing MPD commissioners say about it, okay? But what will it give us, right? It'll give us a regional trail system. It'll give us equestrian trails, you know, dog parks that we don't have, right? Public programs for our youth, for our seniors, okay? You know, the ball course I mentioned, better water access, shoreline protection, all right? So these are the things, you know, these are regional ideas that we're bringing forward to people to look at, which is larger than just little community parks, okay? We're talking about a regional vision that has not only an economic impact, positive economic impact, but also a healthful impact. You know, we're like 35 out of 39 in the counties of the state in terms of health, right? We can do better for our kids. We can do better for our children's children. It's a legacy that we can pass on, and it'll stand forever in terms of good health, regional trails, and a comprehensive plan that, guess what? Again, comes through the public forum process. It's not done in a vacuum. It's done in the public arena, so we can see what the members of our community want to go forward with. And the money would not be able to be diverted by the county commissioners.
Okay, so now we have a 20-minute question and answer session. And I was gonna leave 20 minutes for the parks, but if you guys have other issues that you wanna revisit, then that's fine. But let's start with the parks first. So if anybody has any questions about the parks,
I have a
Sandra.
question, and I also don't think we should spend 20 minutes on this when there are other people who have questions on other things. Why is the city of Shelton exempt from this master plan? When I know the city has its own entity, and it has its own system, but why isn't there some way provided in this proposal to coordinate or something? I have a hard time envisioning without some stricture happening, the county commissioners cooperating with the city commissioners, unless there's a system provided for each people.
We actually looked at the city of Shelton. We've had several talks with Mark Weaver on the subject. And we looked at incorporating it so it would be a total countywide system. To do that, though, we would have 2 MPDs at 2 different rates. And right now, the MPD rate in Shelton is maxed out, and that would actually be lower than what we would be receiving with our 20 cents per thousand. So we couldn't realize the operating budget that we would need for a countywide system. What we are looking at is down the road, if the MPD stands up, then we can go back, and it's not a precedent, but that MPD in Shelton could be resolved, and we could incorporate them into a larger countywide MPD, and we think there would be economy of scale for that to happen.
Okay, Michelle, you have something, and then I'm gonna go to Conley. So-
Thank you.
But Michelle, you go ahead.
Well, yeah, you mentioned 2 entities, and that's essentially what's being set up here, because the county already has one entity that deals with parks, and you're talking about creating a second one. What kind of relationship is there? I have a hard time sort of understanding how that would work. And you also mentioned that the county commission would approve any increase in the tax rate. So where does the county commission?
No, I didn't say the county commission would approve any increase. What I said was, using Kirkland as an example, okay, by the people going to the Board of County Commissioners, they asked for a resolution which would limit any increases in the MPD. And if that's approved, then that's exactly what would happen. Okay, there would be no increases unless there was a countywide vote.
This is a popular vote by the county people?
Correct.
By the whole residents in the county?
Correct.
They would have to approve that?
Yes.
But back to my original question about these 2 entities presumably doing similar things, and who decides? What, who does what?
Well, Commissioner Netherland did a really good job in expressing the fact that until the MPD sets up, there is no body of legal standing that can even begin discussing anything with the county commissioners. And the Board of County Commissioners has the fiduciary relationship to make sure that the properties that are currently in their care aren't willy-nilly turned over to another entity that may not be up to the job, right? So what you have is you have an MPD that's going to stand up, and none of the tax dollars will be realized for over a year. So that first year is going to be totally organizational. And in that time, then they will have their comprehensive plan written, and this will all be done again by public process, right? And then once that's stood up, there'll be an 8-member citizens advisory panel, which will provide citizen oversight. And then we can begin working with the county. We think it's a great opportunity, and there's some great synergy there. Because if we're going after large regional projects, then we can actually use the county along with the MPD, and that gives us stronger standing in terms of an RCO grant or a WWRT grant that will help Mason County be more successful in actually creating these larger projects.
Okay, so Conley and then this gentleman.
Good evening, ladies. My name is Conley Watson, and I am definitely opposed to your thing. Really follow the money. People in this room, follow the money. because it is assessed by the county, a valuation of more than $6 billion by the commissioner. I'm not pointing at you, Melanie, but Frank Benner did that. And they will want to give the $1.2 million to the park things. But all depends on the voting of the people. And whether you know it now or not, the county has, last week, Jerry, we'll put in there on this, $1.2 million, I think, to take out an ad in the paper to explain what's going on. As of right now, I follow the money. If you did 1% of 3 billion, and it's 6 billion in there, you would make 1%, you would make $30,000. That would go to the county. Excuse me, but I vote no.
Sir, and then we'll go to Amy. Did you have your hand up?
Ladies, Ken Van Busker. I'm one of the candidates at large. I feel this proposition was rushed onto the ballot, but I put my name in there in case the proposition did pass. I wanted to be at the table. There's still some unanswered questions and some information that's not correct. I think last week at the forum we heard that 75 cents a thousand could actually be $1. That was by Mr. Haas, one of the other candidates. He brought that forward. There's, unfortunately, the county was trying to get a flyer out to explain some of this information to the folks. But I just heard this morning that the county commissioner decided not to send out those flyers because it would be too expensive and they'd have to use more county money. And I'm really came to see if the league was going to take the position on this, and I would encourage that there be more information sent out to the.
Okay, so there is a question here.
I'm sorry?
Is there a question here, or?
Not for you, sir.
Okay.
Okay, who had their hand up?
I have a question.
Okay, Ruby, go ahead, and then we'll go to you.
I'm not sure what your vision is on this, but Yakima has a huge park, maybe a mile long. It is gorgeous. It has the basketball, it has a lovely building on it. They hold all kinds of things there. Gazebos, covered places for things, and the grounds are gorgeous. Is this what your vision is of the parks?
That would be one of several.
Okay.
Let me just ask you this, can you name me one multi-use path in Mason County?
What? One what?
Multi-use path. Hiking, biking, jogging trail in Mason County? Doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
So this would include trails?
Imagine a multi-use path in Shelton all the way to Belfair. Or imagine the estuary trail that connects North Bay to the Hood Canal. Not only could that be used for hiking, biking, jogging, it could also be a kayak portage between the two bodies of water.
Did you have a question? Cindy?
Speak up, please. Speak up.
Mike and Garrett,
Speak with Ray.
Is it possible, you said the first year would be spent putting together this comprehensive plan as a public process. Is it possible to put together a plan and then ask the voters to vote for it? How
write
could
the
that,
plan.
how could that be?
if you don't have the MPD, you don't have anyone to write the plan or meet with the public.
So this advisory board or committee that was on already was proposing this, couldn't do that or couldn't have that?
Well, the current Citizens Advisory Board is actually at the behest of the county commissioners. We provide public input into the current Parks Board. And it's through those distressing meetings, that we kind of see these gaps, and we thought that this is a better way to go.
Okay, so question from Linda.
I was just going to say that what Connie, what Cindy just said made sense to me because it's sort of like we're doing this backwards. Giving us something to vote on that hasn't been totally laid out yet that first year. When that happens.
There's other people.
Okay, that's all. I just want to comment.
So,
Back.
hold on.
I was in the and then you said at the beginning that there's no mandate in this county for parks.
That's correct.
How do we create a mandate? Is there a way to create a mandate without going to a separate bureaucratic entity that would be
Not that
outside?
I'm aware of.
There's no mechanism available to the public to say to the county commissioners, you
No,
have to make
your
the parks.
county commissioners do not have to provide you parks. Now, the scary thing that we see in this is that even though they've done a great job of reducing the debt load on the welfare sewage treatment plant from 40 to 18 years, okay, this year alone, we paid over $740,000 on the servicing of the bonds, okay, just the debt on those bonds. Now, a lot of that funding came from the REIT 2 funding that was once promised to parks. And without a mandate, they can keep the parks open and the grass trimmed, but you'll see no regional growth. And there are entities that have come to us and said, hey, what are you guys going to do with that Shelton to Mill 5 track? Would that be a great trail? Yeah, but the county doesn't have any money to go forward with it.
Lynn, then Amy.
Okay, when John Keats was the director of the parks in Mason County, wasn't there a
Lorraine is loud.
Okay, wasn't there a comprehensive plan, a plan already in place when John Keats was there?
Yes.
It seemed to me there was.
Yes, there was the 2008 plan, which I feel was a great document and actually lost some traction in 2013 when it was, or 2012 when it was updated. But yes, John Keats was a part of that. One of the directors of Mason County Friends of the Park that serves with me is Ardella Oldie. She's one of the signatures on the 2008 plan. And she is also one of the candidates running for an MPD commissioner position.
So you have a base plan that you could.
Oh, absolutely.
Have to recreate.
I mean, the commissioners could stand up and literally take that plan, reword it, and make it their own. I think though that they will go a few steps farther with it than is currently the way that it's written. I think there's much more that we can do from a regional aspect.
Okay, Amy, I'm kind of concerned over the transition from county parks and trails and maintenance, which last year, the budget item was a little over $400,000. This year, it's now a little over $600,000 in the budget for parks and trails through the county, even though we don't have a mandate to have parks and trails. So where is the transition going to occur? Are they going to lose control of the structure that they now have, lose that $600,000 that they have in the budget this year, and instead we're going to go with a new district and we're going to be funding a new district? Where is that transition going to occur?
Well, number one, the budget was $540,000, of which $100,000 that, a little over that, was actually your O&M. $400,000 of that was your personnel. So that kind of tells you what is really going into the effort. Okay. So if the MPD is approved, your county parks will still exist. Okay. What we would like to see in the future is we would like to see some of those properties come over. Some of those properties couldn't be deeded over because of a trust or a will or something like that, and those might never move over. If they do, then the MPD would take over the maintenance and responsibilities that are